Welcome back to Maths with Mrs. J. We've introduced the log laws and we've talked about the fact that they're quite easy to remember if you remember the fact that a log is basically an index. So if you're multiplying powers of the same base, you are adding the indices. So in this case, you're going to add the logs if you're multiplying the powers. If you are dividing the powers to the same base, you're going to subtract the logs. And the number out the front, it depends what you're wanting to do with it. You can either bring it in as an index or bring it out the front as an index, depending on what you're trying to do. Let's have a look at these examples. We're going to do a few challenge questions here. Some of them are going to not be that much of a challenge and others will be quite a challenge. So just hang in there with me. Let's have a look at this first one. I want to write this as a single logarithm. Now, remember what I've said before, if you've got nothing written as a base, we're assuming it's base 10. So we'll just leave that as log of 5 for now. Now, 2 in base 10. There are a couple of ways we can do it. We could start off by saying, well, it's 2 log of 10, couldn't we? Because log of 10 to base 10 is 1. Right? So then we can bring this in as 10 squared. And then finally, all we need to do is just multiply through 5 by 10 squared because we are adding logs, so we're multiplying the powers. And that just gives you log of 500 as a single log. Normally, to be honest, I would prefer that one in that version, but we're just practicing using our rules at the moment, so bear with me. All right, have a look at the next one. It might be helpful here. Again, we're dealing with base 10 because there's no base written. However, you'll notice that you've got a 4 and you've got an 8. Let's maybe change them to powers of primes just to make things a little bit easier. So you've got 3 log of 2 squared minus log of 2 cubed. Bearing in mind, if you've got the number out the front, you can bring that in as power. So this is really log of 2 to the 6 minus log of 2 cubed. Now, if you're subtracting logs, you're going to divide the powers. So this will be log of 2 to the 6 over 2 cubed. And we know that we subtract the indices, so that's just log of 2 cubed. 6 minus 3 is 3, and so that's just log of 8. All right, next one. Now, these sorts of questions I love because they get you really thinking. We're told that A is log of 2 to base m, B is log of 3 to base m, and C is log of 5 to base m. Notice for starters that all our powers here, 2, 3, and 5 are all prime numbers. So it might be helpful for us to bear that in mind and maybe consider changing any of our powers to powers of primes. The first one is relatively simple. Well, log of 6 to base m, well, let's replace 6 by 2 times 3. 2 to the 1 times 3 to the 1, same thing. All right. Log of a product is sum of the logs. This one's fairly easy, so we can just replace it by A plus B. Now remember, the equivalent index law to this is that you add the indices if you're multiplying powers of the same base. All right, this one here, 108, you can do a little bit of side working if you need to there to work out what that is as powers of primes. If you divide by 2, and divide by 2 again, then you start dividing by 3 till you can't divide by 3 anymore. So you get that that's 2 squared by 3 cubed. So let's do that. So it's log of 2 squared by 3 cubed to base m. All right, let's break this up into the sum of 2 squared to base m, the log of that, and the log of 3 cubed to base m. And then these indices here can come out the front as a multiplier. And then finally, log of 2 to base m was a, so this is 3a plus, sorry, 2a I should say, excuse me, plus 3b. Let's have a look at this one here. What have we got? Well, let's again just change it to powers of primes to start with. So 5 is already a prime. 32 is 2 to the 5th. When we use our rule, if we're dividing our powers, we're going to subtract our logs. So this will be log of 5 to base m minus log of 2 to the 5th to base m. Excuse my mess here. So that's log of 5 to base m minus, we can bring this out as a multiplier. So we just end up with, what is it, c minus 5a. This one here, I'm just going to clear a bit of space so we can do this over here. Bear with me. All right, so, okay. So we've got log of 5 root 3 on 2 to base m. Log of 5 root 3 on 2 all to base m. All right, let's write this as powers of primes because that will help us use our a's, b's and c's appropriately. So we've got 5 to the 1 by 3 to the half. Remember, square root is raising to the power a half over 2. All right, so the products we're going to add. So we're going to have log of 5 to base m plus log of 3 to the half to base m, and we're going to subtract what we're dividing by. This can come out the front as a multiplier. And finally, this was our C, this was our B, and this was our A. I want to do another video of some more challenge questions, so hang on a tick and I'll clear off my screen.